136 Elm Street, Easton, Mass. The first hearing is a continued hearing, variance number 19-10, applicant seeking relief from dimensional and density regulations to allow the construction of a garage on the premises for property located at 15 Summerfield Lane. We have a letter from their attorney saying that he was just retained, attorney Barry Crimmins. They've retained the services of a registered land surveyor to prepare a site plan for the property and have asked that we continue the hearing until February 18th, 2020. I know we have the 11th on our schedule, so do the 11th?
Yep. Will we continue to February 11th?
Seconded.
Jeremy, you're on this one, so you'll vote on it. So we have a motion to continue in a second.
I vote.
Any discussion? Any
Nope.
objection? All in favor? 5-0. You don't vote. This was the one you weren't here for. So, all right, so we've got to wait till 6:35. So in the meantime, we will do a portion of our business meeting for Meadowview Commons. Want to come up, Mark?
Thank you.
Sure. Just use the, if you don't mind, just use the microphone. And so just to recap for the members of the board that are on this one. So the permit allows the board to approve the design of all of the houses that are being constructed over in Meadowview Commons. There was a change on 3 of the houses. So, you know, for that purpose, Mark just needs to come before us to present and ask us whether or not we can approve those changes. I think the biggest issue is all the design issues, and I don't want to step on your presentation here, but the design issues were all two-story homes.
It wasn't that. It was, not to interrupt you, Chairman. The key thing was I told them we're going to do first floor masters.
Yep.
We have a design for that. That was part of the package. Also, the key thing when we were designing them with the town administrator at the time and town council, they were focused on 1 or 2 car garages. They were focusing on no straight fronts. They wanted some style along with some type of covered porch.
Okay.
So what I did is, when I started marketing, we had a high demand, even though it's very limited amount of lots I can do it on, for ranches.
Okay.
Okay, what I've supplied to the board here is 2 versions, one with a 1-car, one with a 2-car. The roof line looks just like the approved cape that was approved, which I'm building 9 of the affordable houses as a cape. In fact, it's only a foot short of the actual top peak of the roof, so they have a very cape look to them. So I'm respectfully requesting, you know, based on what I've been permitted and further permitting, it's very limited the amount of lots I can do these on because they're very deep houses and compared to the other houses. So I'm pretty much running my course on what I can do them on anyway.
Is it just the 3 lots that you?
It's probably going to be a maximum of 5.
Okay.
Of the 36 that'll
But they'd
allow
all
for
be
it.
these designed?
But they all look at it. What I incorporated, same architect, I incorporated the dormer effect both in the front and back of the houses, even though a lot of the back of the house you won't see, but some you will. So it's not even a straight back. It's got a nice dormer in the back, too. Farmer's porch, both of them have very big farmer's porches, bigger than some of the other approved plans that are smaller. And one's a 1-car, one's a 2-car, and I've set up I upgraded the carriage house doors too, so every garage door is going to look the same, all white trim, all black roofs. And, you know, even though there's different colors of houses, you know, I've incorporated it so it all mixes right in nice with the subdivision.
And if you do these on 5 lots, there's going to be a slight reduction in the number of bedrooms? So
Well, they're all 2 bedrooms anyway.
These are all 2
These are all
bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, yes.
Okay.
The ranches are not 3 bedrooms. I've already sold, when I say we're still going to contract, but there are no more 3 bedrooms available.
Okay.
Because I've already started the Cape, which is one of the affordables, which is a 3-bedroom. And I have, in relation to the other 3 bedrooms in the market rates, those have already been taken.
Okay.
So everything else from now, from this point on, is 2 bedrooms, and these plans reflect 2 bedrooms.
Any questions, Steve?
No.
John?
No.
No.
Ryan?
Who was driving the requirements for this?
When I first met on the LIP, I met with the administrator at the time, David Colton and Jay Tallerman. And when we met formally and informally, they discussed what they wanted to see in styles and looks. And the key thing was that either a one or two car garage, not straight fronts on any of the plans. And none of the plans have straight front looks to them. They're all get some type of dormers. And I'm actually changing up the siding to a combination of vinyl siding in the front, but with some cedar impressions on the top too. So it's a nice mixture and look. They actually don't even show on the approved plans. They're actually more in-depth. They're more pleasing to the eye anyway.
So is this something that's just like closing an open loop, or?
It's filling a need, because I'm finding, I thought the first floor master was going to fulfill a need, and people really want first floor living. Unfortunately, I'm very limited.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to?
I make a motion to approve the design changes for lot 32, 26, and 27.
Second. Hang on, before we do that, are there other lots? You said there may be 5 that you...
Yeah, potentially, and it doesn't mean they're going to
I
be...
just don't want you to have to come back.
Yeah,
next week.
so potentially, if you could say,
How about if we make the motion for up to 5 lots? The design change can be made for up to 5 lots
Okay.
at his discretion.
that'd be great.
Is that okay?
Amend my motion to include up to 5 lots in total subdivision.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McCall, seconded by Mr. Curran. All those in favor? 5-0. You're
Thank
all
you very
set.
much.
Mark, just one thing, I was just asked to remind you that we still need to get paid from
Yep,
Woodard
I
and
talked to
Curran.
Suzanne today, and that'll be
Okay.
funded by Monday morning.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Mark.
much.
All right.
Two sheets to sign.
I just want to make sure, on that motion to continue the first hearing, we moved it to February 11th?
Yes,
Okay, that was in the motion that way?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
perfect. All right. 6:35 hearing, continued public hearing, comprehensive permit number 19-14 Avalon Easton 2 for property located at 49 Robert Drive. I don't, unless there's anything new to read and you're not reading the Woodard and Curran letter, then, no, let's not. Refresh my memory, is it the regular board sitting on this, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
The
Excellent.
floor is yours. Oh. Okay, there you go.
Excellent,
Go ahead.
thank you. For the record, Michael Roberts with Avalon Bay Communities. We appreciate the opportunity to be back in front of you to review our proposal for Avalon Easton Phase 2, which, as we discussed last time we were in front of you, is 44 units located on Robert Drive, directly adjacent to the first phase that we completed in 2017. Since our last presentation before you, we have received a detailed review from the peer review consultant, Woodard and Curran. We have responded to their requests for information and some clarifications. My understanding, there has been some back and forth, but at this point, it's our understanding that we've provided all the requested information. So we're here tonight and look forward to answering any questions or further clarifications that you need at this point.
Okay. I just had a couple of things, not so much questions as more as just clarifications, just for my own edification, based upon the letter dated December 17th. I know it was addressed in the letter and in the back and forth that there were no low-impact development techniques that were really likely to be implemented in Phase 2. Were there any that were implemented in Phase 1? Is there a difference between the two phases that, that they were then but not now kind of thing?
Yes. Fred Keeler, if you wouldn't mind, I'll bring Fred Keeler here, our consultant with H.W. Moore, and he can probably do a better job of
You
answering
can
any
stand
of
and
those.
hold the mic or whatever you're more comfortable doing, sitting.
For the record, Fred Keeler from H.W. Moore. In Phase 1, we had two bioretention areas and one rain garden, and in several infiltration systems. And in Phase 2, because of the site constraints and the site is actually located sort of at the crest of Robert Drive, it really doesn't lend itself to some of these lid implementation measures. So we're going to merge the two lots into one large lot eventually, and it'll be one Avalon Easton site, and it'll include the two bioretention areas in the rain garden, as well as several infiltration systems.
Okay, so it's really just a more or less a size issue with Phase 2?
Yes.
You know, fitting everything
We
in.
don't have a
and
lot
not-
of free space, and what space we have, we're landscaping pretty heavily, by Hawk Design included a plan that shows that landscaping.
On the parking, I was a little, not confused, but I think from a parking perspective, we're looking to get fewer, or you're looking to get fewer than the required number, but it depends on whether or not you're looking at dwelling units versus units and how many spaces are required under that. Am I correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
so I know there's been some back and forth as to the interpretation of the bylaw. From our perspective, it's really just a matter of providing the right parking. Obviously, that's a pretty crucial aspect of our development. So in this particular instance, we have the 76 spaces, 44, each unit has its own private garage, and then there's 32 surface spaces. And from our perspective, and we take a very close look at this based on the number of bedrooms in the unit mix, and the distribution of the parking. So we're very comfortable with what we're proposing.
What's the, not to cut you off, but what's the sort of the dynamic in Phase 1 as far as parking availability goes?
Yep.
No issues? I mean,
No.
I know you guys are almost at capacity there, so.
Yeah, no issues with the parking.
You're saying correct me if I'm wrong, but your calculations from your actual data showed that you actually had more parking than you actually
Yeah.
needed.
Yep. And that's been kind of a pretty consistent trend over the last 10, 15 years, is really just fewer cars. But you don't want to underpark it. So we've done a pretty careful look at our parking. As I had mentioned, this is a product type and a mix similar to what we recently completed in Sudbury. So we have a pretty good idea how people park in this building type. So we're very comfortable with what we're proposing.
Okay. The other thing I just wanted to clarify too, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but assuming we ultimately approve the application, did you have any issues with any of the sort of recommendations and contingencies in paragraphs 14 and 15 from Woodard and Curran's letter? Basically, it was just, suggestions on the town monitoring as far as the subsurface infiltration system, and different aspects that they're recommending to us or to the town to sort of monitor on a going forward basis.
I'm fine with that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's similar to Phase 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, there are no issues with that.
Okay. Good for right now, Ryan, you got anything?
No.
Tim?
I was going to ask about 14 and 15, so I don't have any other questions.
John?
No, I was gonna ask about the parking, but you covered that. I think there was also an observation about the number of handicap spots.
Mhm.
That in item 11. The ADA standards require 4, and you've planned for 3, am I correct?
Can we do these together?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Phase 2, we're proposing 3, but the overall site, when it's combined, will have an excess number of handicap parking spaces for the overall development.
Okay, thank you.
Steve?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Anybody here from the public that wants to talk about this? No? Okay. Anything else that we need to address? Yeah, you say anything? Stephanie, did you want to say anything or about?
No.
Okay.
Essentially, Woodard and Curran report stated they submitted all the information that stormwater complies with the regulations. The two conditions that they suggested are pretty standard in these type of developments. And one of the things that the board had asked for was an update on the traffic study, which was done, and has indicated that they're still below what the projected build-out traffic volumes would be, so I think they're all.
How long after phase one was built did we ask you to do, when did you finish construction on phase one? Do you remember?
Yeah, late 2017. I think the requirement was 90%.
April of 18 is when we asked you to have
Yep.
a further study done. So, you know, would you mind if we included that as part of the approval that, you know, 6 months or a year from now that you just update the study and make sure that we're within the projections? I don't anticipate that you will, given the current circumstances.
Sure.
But if we ask you to, I don't know if we will, but if we,
Yep,
if we did.
that's
Okay.
fine.
And then I know there was an issue relative to certain species that were going to be included in the landscaping. Has that been, had that been discussed as far as native versus non-native?
Yes, we've agreed to that request. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Over to the waivers. I had a couple of questions on those. Find them. So I don't want to go through the whole list of them, but just a couple of quick questions. So the max height on, from zoning bylaw requirements is 40 feet. I mean, you've got, because of the 3-story buildings, we're going to exceed the 40 feet. Is that the reason for the 46?
Correct.
The request for the
Yep.
46? Okay. And the development's going to include 4 stories? What's the 4th story if it's a 3-unit or 3-story?
So there's 3 stories. In some units, we have a loft space, which may be
That's
what you're
considered
referring
a
to.
separate.
Right, so it's actually, it's contained within the framework of the roof. And from an architectural standpoint, it's all, you know, it's within that space, and there are requirements that it can't be more than a third of the floor area of the space below, the floor below it. But it actually provides, and we did this in our phase one, it provides just a nice layout from a unit perspective. So it's kind of a nice open space, and residents can use that for, you know, a mini office or storage or however they want to use it. But
Okay. And the other one that I had a question on was on the basement dwelling units that you've asked for the waiver on. That's just, is that just because they're below ground level on one end? Or, I mean, they're not basement
there are no basements.
units per se, right?
There are no basement units.
Okay.
No.
It has to do with the way, I think, the grade works on the site, that some of them sort of cut
Because
into the ground and.
Okay.
because in the front, they may be
Right.
below, slightly below
Yeah, that's
ground.
actually a holdover from phase one,
Yeah.
more than it is a phase two issue, and I think
Yeah.
that we just wanted to, we had it in there just to make sure that there was an ambiguity in the ordinance that we were addressing.
Okay.
We had terrace level units in phase one. We don't have them in phase two, but
Right.
maybe it's just a,
The way that we dealt with the waiver list, and I think we mentioned this last time was, or I mentioned this last time was, we took it because the idea is that we're gonna merge these lots. We did it as a holistic waiver list to look at phase one and phase two as they interact.
Yep.
So that's the reason why we're picking up
Gotcha.
some
Yep.
phase one waivers here that don't necessarily apply to phase two.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Perfectly fine. Fair enough.
Do you mind just stating your name for the record so that
Oh, I'm
Suzanne
sorry,
can capture that?
Darren Baird from Goulston and Stores Council, Avalon.
I don't have anything else, guys.
Will we close the hearing?
Hang on just a second. Mike, anything that we're
No,
missing that you
actually-
think we should address?
Actually, the applicant and the engineers seem to have work things out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Usually at this stage,
There's a
still
couple
lot
more
of-
things
still
to
a
go
lot of
back on, I
disagreement, but
know.
Not in this case,
no,
yeah.
okay. Is there anything you wanna, we've already got a motion to close
Yep.
the hearing, so I don't wanna close it, you know,
Yep.
unless you guys wanna add something.
No, I mean, we appreciate the process. It's been very, very thorough and detailed, but we appreciate that and happy to, again, continue to answer or clarify anything that you need at this point, but we appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, great. So we have a motion to close by
Second.
Mr. Merlin, seconded by everybody. By Mr. Cook, all in favor? 5-0. Discussion? You want to talk about this now?
Yeah, let's talk now.
Okay. Before somebody jumps in to make a motion to approve, I just want to go through and decide or discuss whether or not, do you want to have the traffic study? Do we want to incorporate the requirements or the suggestions from Woodard and Curran's letter, paragraphs 14 and 15 into the decision as an ongoing?
I mean, most of these suggestions are just, follow-ups.
monitoring,
Right,
yep.
exactly, monitoring the construction
Yep.
at different periods. I think all these apply. I think certainly at some point after construction, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see what the traffic
Just gonna
impacts
make,
might
just
be.
gonna
To
make
give an
sure
update.
the other road work on 106 is done.
God willing.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully next spring is the target there.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. We can make it so it's after, and when 106 is functioning normally, we might see.
I think by the end of next year, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be done, so. What's your time frame on?
So we've got some details to finalize on our construction drawings, our architectural drawings, so that's going to take a little bit of time, and so I would expect we'd start sometime in the spring.
And then, what, about 18 months, did we say?
Yeah, I
Beginning
think
then?
we, yeah,
Yeah, construction-wise?
I'd say 14 to 18
14
months.
to 18,
Yep.
okay. Okay,
I think conditions 14 and 15 have to be included.
yeah.
So,
Anybody want to make a motion?
move we approve, subject to conditions 14 and 15 of the letter to the board from Woodard Curran dated December 17, 2019, plus the traffic study.
Okay, within
6 months after completion.
6 months, year? 6 months probably.
Probably gotta wait till after 6 months.
Within 6 months of, well, gotta give
Within
them a chance.
6 months,
Six to
after-
12
within
months.
6 months after the 106 construction is finished.
Okay. Give them an opportunity to lease it.
Yeah.
Stephanie?
That construction should be completed spring of 2021, completely.
Yeah, okay.
So
So in theory, it'll be done before they are, yeah. More, well, roughly, maybe around the same time. Okay. But give them a chance to lease it up too, so.
Yep.
Within, so what do you want to say?
6
Within a-
months after, between 6 and 12 months after completion.
Between 6 and 12 months, by, so
No,
by a year
By a year,
after completion of construction, how's that?
no sooner than 6 months.
Construction or rental or occupancy?
Well, if we give them a
Once they get
year, then,
occupancy.
Yeah.
then they can,
Okay.
no sooner than 6 months and no more than 12 months, how's that?
That's fair. I'll add that to
Okay.
what I put.
All right. So there's a motion in there somewhere from Merlin. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Good luck, guys.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Uh, 640 hearing, variance number 1917, applicant is seeking zoning relief for a sign application for property located at 105 Depot Street. Come on up, you can sit right there and you get to read the notice and,
The Easton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019 at the Easton Town Hall, Colleen A. Corona Boardroom, 36 Elm Street, Northeastern Mass, on the following petition. 6:20 p.m. Variance, ID Sign Group, Inc., for property located at 105 Depot Street, Easton, Mass. Assessors map 37U, Lot 1, for a variance pursuant to Easton Code Book, Section 235-29. Applicant seeks permission to allow a freestanding, a second freestanding sign to identify the business in the rear building of the property. This notice is also available at masspublicnotices.org. I'm going to read the comments from the various boards. Planning, they recommend. Environmental planner states that the sign is a minor installation of an existing fence. Conservation Commission reviewed this site and issued a certificate of compliance back in 2016. Police recommend. Fire recommend. Water not applicable. Affordable housing not applicable, and historical not applicable.
So, members sitting on this, so to my far right, Mr. Steve Merlin, to his left, Mr. John Curran, to his left, Mr. Tim McCall, to my left, Mr. Ryan Cook, and myself, Michael Spillane.
All right.
Floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, guys. This feels so weird. They're developing half the town, and I'm coming in looking for a sign. I feel like I'm wasting your time. Everyone wants to go home. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I feel like Oliver North. This is pretty cool. I've never done this before.
Not a problem.
With this CNN cameras, yeah.
Just introduce yourself for the record.
Sure.
And then you can just tell us what it is that you're looking for.
Sure thing. John Noonan, Great Oak Capital Partners. We're over at Bristol Drive for a while. We got a little too big, had to hire people, so we needed a spot. We found the place at 105, and it was we didn't have much choice. Wanted to stay in Easton. It was a perfect place, but we had to take. You should have seen the place when we got there. It's like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It was just this box, and it was ugly and gross, and put a lot of money into it, and made it a really nice office. But now we have a problem. People aren't finding it, and it's not just that they're not finding it, which I guess is supposed to be the issue when you're trying to get a sign, but it's more of so I don't know if you guys, you get the car wash there. I'm sure you've been there, and you get that building in back, and we're all the way down back, and you go down the driveway and whatnot, and which is we thought would be fine, but we've had I don't know 6 or 7 people go and say we couldn't find it, and they go in the front door, and you can't get to us on the bottom from the front, which would be good enough, but we had one person park up front and walk down the driveway. I don't know if you know the driveway, but it's pretty steep, and if they had done that like this morning with this weather, and being an investment management firm, our average client age is about 59 or 60 at this point, and which is fine. I'm not, but that makes it, obvious. Yeah, I'm 43, my knee already doesn't work, and I can't even imagine, some of these people that we help have a hard time getting around, and if that happens in bad weather and someone's trying to walk down the driveway and falls, forget about finding the place. That's what I'm nervous about at this point, but. True, we do need them to be able to find the place, and we figure it's a sign. I don't know if you know it. When you go in, you go get your car wash, you find, but if you stay right, there's that building, and there's a little spot where we're trying to put the sign. The only people that are going to know about it or see it are the people that are coming to see us. It's not going to bother anybody, but it's going to help tremendously, and hopefully it's going to prevent someone from, doing what this other person did and walking down the driveway and falling. Who knows? Yeah, so that's just about it. We're just hoping it's not you guys don't mind so much, and it would really help us out.
I'm Bob Christopher with ID Sign. I did give you plans. I walked the site as review on how to get there down the driveway.
Yep.
And trying to find it. I think you have that.
Yeah. Yep, we do. Not nice big color ones like that. No, that's okay. I saw them online. So.
Well, I was trying. The people at the office trying to tell them about this. They gave me this thing printed out with primary sign types, freestanding sign, blah blah blah. If it's set back 30 feet, well, we're 100 feet back. But honestly, I just don't want anyone to fall. I guess they thought that would be good enough, but I'd rather just.
So
everyone be safe.
It's right down at the bottom of the hill there, so that as you're kind of
you never think there's anything down
area,
there.
You'll see it. Okay.
Right. So what our plan is, you go down that side of the driveway, and we're telling people at night it's even worse. During the day a little bit easier, but at night you can't miss a sign. It's going to be white, so the car will be direct. When the car's going right at it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to tell people when you see our sign, take a right down the hill. And that's what we're gonna tell everybody once we have one. But right now, we just tell them to do that, but some people just can't. Most people get it, but even if it's, a couple dozen that don't, one of the guys we hired that we need a new office for is a CPA. He's gonna have about a few hundred people coming in between a month from now and April. And, we just don't wanna, who knows?
And it's not a lighted sign or anything, it's just a.
No, it's
what you're showing here, basically.
right, yeah, so
Okay.
no one's gonna see it or anything, but you're only gonna see it when you drive down. It's gonna be perfect for what we need, and you won't even know it's there unless you come see us. But you should if you wanna check out the office, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, okay.
If you're ever down in that area, getting your car washed, you have nothing to do, come visit.
Sure.
I keep beer in the fridge.
Steve, any questions?
Is that considered a bribe at one of these meetings? Sorry.
I'm fine.
John?
No.
Tim?
You just, where's your office?
Want me to show you? Yeah, I'll show you this thing.
You're talking about, this is the driveway, people are walking, so you're in the back. So the sign's here, then won't people think?
Right,
that's
so
a
no, so you tell me
consensus
what we're gonna, that's right. We have, the only other place we would think it was on the side, but you can't see it when you turn it, like it happens too fast. So we're gonna tell people, by the time you get to here, you
You'll
can
see
see
it.
this perfectly. So we're gonna say, as soon as you see our sign.
So if I walk
take
into
a right
here, I
down the
can't
hill.
get to your office, there's no
No,
elevator.
no,
stairs
you would
or-
think there would be, but there isn't. It's just the way they built it. I think it was just an afterthought to put the basement
Okay.
in and some engineering folks went in there, they just moved
Confusing how
upstairs.
it's set up there, that's all.
Right.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Fine?
It wasn't the best choice of an office, it's all we can do, but we're trying to make the best of it, make everybody happy around here.
I'm just trying to see how the sign actually helps you solve your issue because of its location. And there isn't even an arrow pointing like that way.
No, we're gonna tell everybody, it's gonna be so we also hired another person, Melanie, who's the office manager, and her job is to tell everybody before every meeting, with the phone call, you're gonna come down, see our sign, and you take a right at the sign. And that's, we've been telling people, go down and then take a right, but they don't seem to be getting it. It's very strange, because they want to see the name of the company somewhere, and you can't see it, so it looks like they're in the wrong place, because there's nothing that says Great Oak. Out front, but I don't know if you know that sign out front, it's useless, especially if you come in from, what's the other street there?
Washington Street?
Yeah, from the main street you find, and the one I come down from, and we just moved there, so I'm new to trying to figure out what the streets are. You have no
If I
idea.
show you the color picture, you can kind of see.
Oh, I'm looking at them.
Oh, you got the color?
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's 1,000
Because
signs
what happened
over
was,
there.
I
It's very
didn't even
confusing.
realize that the
But I also, I can see Ethan Ekstrom's pickup truck blocking where the view of your sign, because those are parking spots
no,
right in
no,
front.
it's going right where the ramp is. Where I'm putting it, it's going. Cap ramp.
I
So
understand
some-
that, but those are parking spaces right in front.
Right, but that goes to the dog place. It's going to the tail end of that truck.
All right.
At the beginning of that ramp, it's straight on. So as you come down
Right
there,
to their office.
No, I 100%
Yeah.
understand that. I'm just looking to see how this helps them solve their problem. I don't think it's going to, but in the end, it's not my money that I'm spending, so, you guys want to spend the money on that. I don't think it's gonna solve your problem. That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they wanna? Nope. Ask? No? Anything you guys would like to add before we?
I don't know, should we?
close the hearing?
I don't know.
no, I think he's good. He's just trying to, like I said, it's to identify that building in the back and get people down in the back.
Except it's up front is the problem.
Huh?
I mean, my issue is it's, like, I really don't care how you design, it's your sign.
Yeah, it's your
but
sign.
It just seems like you're gonna drive to that and then you're gonna be looking
Take-
for a right and there's
Yeah,
no right.
there's no right.
and You're forced all the way around, but I don't.
There isn't even like go downhill or,
Oh, the sign is well before, so when you're halfway down that driveway, it's clear as day where we're gonna put it.
Well, you'll
It's
see the
directly in
sign.
front of you. It's basically gonna be, I'd say, if you're the sign, I'm about another 20 feet back, and it's the only thing you can see right in front of you. There's all kinds of stuff when you go around the thing, but you
Right,
can't even
just-
see that. You can't, and when we tell them, you see Great Oak, take a right, and then, it's really like the assurance. They just, the people we work with, they need to see, all right, that's the, aside from just getting there, it helps that, all right, this is where they are, because they actually have a sign, and it's just, you'd be surprised. I don't know if you would be, but the things that people ask us to do, you should have a sign. I'm like, so yeah, we got to spend the money. I really don't want to, Ryan, but I have to because these people are asking for it, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. I really wish I didn't have
Signage
to.
is important for a business. It's a matter of not just having signage, but having the right signage so they can identify you and know where to go. And I deal with signs, and I just don't see where this is going to solve your problem, but it's your money.
Hey, I mean, I'll take suggestions. Believe me. I don't know if you're for hire.
We can, somebody want to close the hearing, or?
Motion to close the hearing?
Second.
Made by Mr. McCall, seconded by Mr. Curran. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0.
Thank you.
Anybody want to make a motion on the application?
I'll move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Curran to approve,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Merlin. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Good luck, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
That was fun. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it was.
Have a good night.
All right. 6:45 hearing, special permit number 19-18. Applicant is seeking permission to allow the premises to be used as a performance space for property located at 25 Robert Drive. I'm gonna guess it's you guys, so why don't you come on up? Process of elimination. Go ahead, Tim.
All right, the Easton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019 at the Easton Town Hall, calling a Corona Boardroom, 136 Elm Street, Northeastern, Mass, on the following petition. To be heard at 6:45 PM. Special permit, Mark DeLuzio for property located at 25 Robert Drive, Easton, Mass. Assessors map 10R lot 190 for a special permit pursuant to Easton Code Book Section 235, Appendix A, Sub-Appendix E19. Applicant seeks permission to allow the premises to be used as a performance space. This notice is also available at masspublicnotices.org. I'm going to read the following comments from the different boards in town. The planning board voted to approve with the contingency that if parking related to the use as a theater becomes a problem, the planning board will require the business owner to appear before the board for a site plan review. DPW and not applicable. Environmental planner, not applicable. Police department recommends. Historical commission, not applicable. Affordable housing, not applicable. And I didn't see the fire in there. No, not there. All right, that's it.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure.
and
For the record, I'm Mark DeLuzio, owner of Mockingbird Studios. So I've been in business since 2001. Have a location in Mansfield and Easton currently. And we are building out this space at Robert Drive, closing both of those locations and moving into this one space at Robert Drive. We are a retail music business as well as a music school in that we teach private lessons and group lessons. Pretty much 5 days a week, 6 days a week. In addition to that part of our business, we also have, as part of that, we have recitals for our students. We have groups that perform, so we run band programs, and the bands will perform. So we're looking to use the space to allow for that, but also to allow for other groups to come in, independent artists, nonprofit groups, to come and put on performances for the community, for the general public. So the space is zoned for my business use, and it's being built out for that currently. Scheduled to be finished middle of January, we hope. But they have made accommodations to plan for this performance in terms of fire safety, means of egress, all the things that if this does get approved, that we would already have built into that build out, so we don't have to go back and do the work again.
Questions? Ryan? Oh, same 5 people on this hearing as on last one.
What I was trying to understand is, for this performance area, is there a platform, stage?
Yes.
What I couldn't When I was going through the plans, I couldn't see where, is that in that front area, which is like your retail space?
Exactly. So there's one large front room that's approximately 43 square feet by 38 square feet. In that room would be a stage, which couldn't go on the original plan because we couldn't have a stage on the original
Okay,
plan.
that's
So
what-
there's a separate set of plans that have a stage on.
Raised platform.
Right. So the stage would be approximately 14 by 26, I think is what it is.
Okay. And a portable ramp in case you.
Portable
need-
ramp in case we have a performer that needs that. We would do portable, temporary seating. It's not going to be permanent seating.
Right.
So we put chairs up when there's a performance, take them down when there's not.
So I didn't see anywhere within any of the bylaws about decibel limitations or anything like that, as far as how do you control sound so it's not disrupting the other tenants?
Well, I think you indicated that you've already got soundproofing in the walls, correct?
Yeah, so
But it's still glass fronts.
right. So the two things. One is that there is soundproofing on both adjacent walls to the other tenants. The other is that these performance hours are going to be mostly later on weekends, so 8 o'clock at night. Currently, I mean, I know tenants can change, but currently our tenant to the right of us closes at 6, so it wouldn't be an issue.
Where are you gonna be located there, just?
Yeah, so there's the Big Y, then there's the pet store, then there's 2 vacant spaces. So we're the second vacant space there, and then there's the jewelry stores right next to us.
Okay.
Are you up against the jewelry store or the other?
Yes, we're up against the jewelry store.
Not the
And then
pet
the
store.
other vacant space is gonna be a restaurant? Is that the?
No, the restaurant's down near
Down
Pizoni's. If
further.
you're talking about the barbecue
Yeah,
restaurant.
that's further
That's
down.
further down.
Oh, further down, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything going in.
Currently,
there
I don't think
yet.
there is, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good for now?
Good.
Okay. Tim?
Approximately how many people attend, what do you think you'd be attending at this recitals?
So I
It's not a very
think,
big
I mean,
room, so 30,
the
40.
maximum capacity based on the square footage that's left after the stage is in would allow for approximately 120 people maximum. I don't think we would necessarily have that many. More in that sort of 75 person areas where we've been in the past.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions.
How would you sell tickets?
How would we sell tickets?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of our stuff is free, so whenever it's our own programming, there aren't any tickets.
Is it recitals from music lessons or
Yes.
people you do?
Yes.
Something like that?
But if we were to bring in a group from the outside, they would either sell their own tickets. We're also, I've initiated a nonprofit organization to sort of administer all this performance side of things, and that organization would determine on how to sell tickets at that point. But I assume it would be an online system would make the most sense.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. I don't have anything else. The only thing I will say is, I think you heard in the original letter, if we're inclined to approve this, that if parking becomes an issue, that would you be agreeable to having to go before planning board?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Under those circumstances. I don't know how we're going to make that determination, or,
Love
I-
opening
I-
stuff like that.
what's that?
I say love opening
I know,
stuff like
but,
that.
I mean, parking isn't an issue there now.
Right.
And even with a performance at night with that many people, I don't think you're gonna have an issue. But you get the restaurant in, you get,
Yeah.
a couple other tenants in, and especially if they're all night-type tenants, then it could be more of an issue at that point, so.
Understood.
Okay. Anything you want to add before we probably vote to close the hearing?
No, other than we're excited to be there and to sort of expand music and the arts and community of Easton.
Great.
It's kind of excited to get it rolling.
Anybody want to make a motion to close?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Cook,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Curran. All in favor? 5-0. Anybody want to make a motion on the application?
Motion to approve.
Motion
With
to
the
approve.
Contingency as provided by the planning board.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Cook, seconded by Mr. Curran. All those in favor? 5-0. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Last thing we have on our agenda for tonight is approval of the minutes from our November 19th meeting.
I didn't see anything that needed to be changed. Anybody else?
I did not.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Seconded.
Motion made by somebody, seconded by somebody else. All those in favor?
Yep.
5-0. Before we make a motion to close the hearing, Stephanie, thank you very much for everything you've done for the town, for your service. Most appreciated, and best of luck to you in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now somebody can make a motion to close.
I'll move to close.
Everybody made a motion to close, everybody seconded,
Yeah, all right.
5-0.
There we go.
Good luck, Steph.
Thank you.
Luck.